So if you are looking to attract butterflies, what can you do?
And they are able to store it in their body, and it makes them toxic.
Monarch butterflies and the Western monarch butterflies, they actually
have gang wars.
They flock to the trees. Like I just found this video.
The trees picture an old-timer butterfly. I remember the mountain. We had to fly around. All the little...
The Helpful Gardeners, the podcast that digs into the buzziest plant trends and news you need to know, regardless of your growing zone. Colin is a skilled horticulturist with decades of growing experience across Canada. Brandi is the greenest of green thumbs with a love of asking questions. Welcome to our garden nook.
Why did the man throw margarine out of his window? Because he wanted to watch Butterfly. There's your start.
I came out of left field. Are you kidding?
Bam!
Oh, what do you call cheese that's not yours?
Nacho cheese. You laughing at that?
I love dad jokes.
You laughing made that so much better.
I love Butterfly, though, and very timely. I love when you find things on social media and it's just overwhelmingly good news.
Yeah.
The Monarch Butterfly population has nearly doubled this year.
They were actually in the full classification of endangered.
Oh my gosh. And like when you think of butterfly, that's the butterfly you think of. Like
There's a reason why it's the emoji.
I think culturally it's important, and they make this incredible migration every single year. And what I actually found out was interesting was that the Eastern monarch butterflies and the Western monarch butterflies, they have
gang wars. It's like West Side Story.
West Side monarch butterflies.
Yeah.
They winter in California, and the Eastern ones go to winter in Mexico.
I mean, I would be happy with either of those choices.
Yeah, that's so cool. I didn't realize that they go home in different areas.
I want and something else. As far as I know, and I'm not a butterfly expert, but I don't believe that there is any other butterfly species on the planet that has a migratory route like that. I mean, like that's a bird migration.
Have you seen what they do when they land in Mexico? They flock to the trees. Like I just found this video.
The trees look alive, right?
They do.
Yeah.
And it's like borderline creepy, but it's just like the coolest thing. I'm going to pop a video up in our show notes. So go to goldenacre.ca/podcast. Go into the show notes section and you'll see this week's topic, and it'll have a video of the migration and what it looks like. And it's just like the coolest thing. And they do that every single year.
There's different cycles and generations in the same season. So some won't be able to make the migration because of the weather. Mm-hmm. One of the generations will only live like 2 months and the other one will live 9 months. The 9-month generation is the one that does the migration route. The other one just basically lays the eggs.
Oh my gosh.
So it's
what a gamble.
I know it's this whole bizarre, because we tend to think of animals as having, like birds. And they've got a set period of when they're done the migration and they build their nest and they mate, and then the chicks hatch, and then the chicks are old enough to make the migration or whatever. Mm-hmm. You don't really think of all of that with a butterfly. You think, well, obviously they're doing it in the spring and then they're making the migration.
Yeah, it kind of feels like an incomplete cycle, doesn't it? Yeah. Like when you watch a nature show, you see it from like birth. They make the trek across wherever, and then they, all of that. And yet, the monarch butterfly. It's kind of interesting how the genetics are still passed down for instinct, though. So if you're of the generation that doesn't make the migration, somehow you still pass on the genetic instinct to make a migration.
Like some of the things that you read about, like I read it, I don't know, this isn't butterflies, but I thought it was rad. And they tracked a bird, and it was the longest migration that we've been able to track or witness. And it flew from South Africa all the way to Finland.
Wow. So where do you take a break on the ocean?
Well, you don't, because it's all upland. And then when it hit the Mediterranean, it went around like the Middle East, Turkey, up to...
The whole time I'm thinking it's like a direct flight across the ocean.
Well, that's why. So have you ever heard about the when the Eastern monarch flies across Lake Superior? Mm-mm. So they fly across Lake Superior in the Great Lake chain. Mm-hmm. And apparently when they get to Lake Superior, turn west and fly that way a certain distance before they go south again. Apparently, 150,000 years ago or something, there used to be a mountain there before a plate shift, and it's still in their evolutionary migration. So they fly around a mountain that doesn't exist. Okay, is it true or false? Apparently it's not.
No?
Apparently the mountain did used to be there, but it is not a evolution. I know I wanted it to be so bad.
So what is it then?
They won't fly across large bodies of water.
Oh.
They won't fly across large bodies of water. It's migratory location or something. They need to stay close to shorelines or to islands, because a large body of water, especially somewhere like the Great Lake where the weather can be volatile, if they get caught in the rain or in the winds, there's nowhere for them to land. There's no protection.
Yeah.
And they could mass swaths of them die. So it looks like they're flying around this mountain, and there used to be a mountain there. So it all syncs up.
This is reminding me of a couple weeks ago when we were talking about moon phase gardening, and how we were talking about how like maybe it's a completely separate reason why it works than anything that we've thought about. This is exactly the same thing. Like we come up with these truths, right? Yep. And they may or may not be true.
And you always want to believe the magic.
You do. Yeah. And so this is exactly one of those things where you're like, oh wow, butterflies are so smart. And I mean, they are smart. It's just for a different reason than we didn't think it was.
Exactly. They're like, oh, wow, they remembered that mountain. And it's like, picture an old timer butterfly. I remember the mountain. We have to fly around. All the little caterpillars like, tell us more, Brenda.
The butterflies occupied 4.42 acres of forest in central Mexico during the 2024-2025 hibernation season, from 222 acres the previous winter. So in just like 1 year. It was an increase of that much, which is really cool. Scientists are thinking that it's weather conditions, so like less drought. There is some optimism over this, but I was interested into seeing like why the populations were declining in the first place, right? One of the main things is the loss of milkweed.
Yes.
I didn't realize that monarch caterpillars will feed exclusively on milkweed. I didn't know that they didn't eat anything else.
No, that's why it's so important. That's why we would sometimes have struggles in Montreal where our clients would be like, oh, I need you to remove that. And we would be like, it's a very important plant.
100%.
Like it's very important. It's not like other butterflies. And then did you know this? One of the reasons they feed on it or have evolved, milkweed is toxic.
To everything?
To everything.
Oh.
Carcinogenous or something.
Yeah.
And if we eat it or mammals eat it, it can cause heart palpitations, seizures, diarrhea. In high concentrations, it can cause death. They eat it and they are able to store it in their body, and it makes them toxic.
So if anything were to eat the butterfly?
The caterpillar looks pretty innocuous, right?
Yeah.
And it's eating the milkweed and develops the toxin. Then when it comes out, it has the bright colors, which is aposematism, which is like bright colored frogs, right? Anything in nature that's bright, don't touch. That's the warning. And they are toxic to be eaten, and that's a defense mechanism.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, okay. And it comes from their diet.
I've never thought about growing milkweed in my garden.
We sold it here this year in native plants.
Yeah, exactly. Never thought about it. Like, actually, that's the first time I'd ever really seen milkweed sold anywhere.
Okay. Yeah, I've never seen it sold anywhere. We would find it growing naturally in Montreal.
Yeah.
We would encourage it to seed. We'd gather the seed pods and spread them and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because we're hippies.
But that's sort of one of the reasons why butterflies were on the decline, was the loss of milkweed. And surprisingly, not surprisingly, that a lot of that came from herbicides and agricultural uses. So killing the milkweed, right?
Yep.
Loss of overwintering habitat. So deforestation, that kind of thing down in Mexico
like
and along the coast.
Logging industry. Okay,
exactly.
Yep.
So that was reducing the amount of canopy that they had to swarm on.
Yep.
Climate change, of course, was a big thing. Warmer weather confused the timing. And then loss of nectar sources. And much like we've talked about before, it's not just bees that are pollinators. There's a bunch of different insects that can be pollinators.
And you know what? That's an important point. We always say that the milkweed is the food source of the monarch. It's the food source of the caterpillar. The adult will visit every flower.
Yeah.
Like dandelions to roses, it doesn't care. As long as there's nectar available, it'll visit it. And again, if we're cutting out swaths of these land on the migration path to put in barley and corn and whatnot, they're losing their food.
Yeah. And not to mention urbanization.
Yep.
So cities getting bigger and we're losing a lot of that natural vegetation. So that's also a thing. Also an indicator species. I didn't realize this. And it makes sense when you think about the grand picture of it, but they do indicate bigger issues in the ecosystem and the world at large.
Yep.
So we're talking about climate change and things like that. And I think that that's really cool that there's a big movement to try and save the species because they give back to us just as much as we give to them.
And I read recently, like this year, that there's a huge development. I think there's like 7 or 8 states on a migratory corridor that are building like 900-mile long Monarch corridor.
Really?
And it's all going to be filled with milkweed and nectar and water and natural, and then naturalizing all the way down. So wherever they stop, they're going to have food. And we look and we go, oh, look at the monarch, the migratory, like that huge amount of them condensed. You can't help but notice them. But how many other species is that corridor going to help? Everything from small mammals to reptiles to native bees, birds. It's going to have a massive effect on the environment. So, yay.
Yeah, not only environment, but people too. I'm sure people will be able to go to those places and be able to see a butterfly, right?
But this year, I saw a swallowtail butterfly in my garden and a monarch.
Seriously?
Yep.
So if you are looking to attract butterflies, what can you do? Plant milkweed?
Right. Milkweed, absolutely. But advertise.
Yeah.
Advertise. Get your plants out there. Lots of flowers, lots of blooms.
Annuals, perennials, it can be anything.
Anything. Vegetables.
Yeah.
Right? Like look at the size of the flower on like zucchinis.
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
that's a beacon.
Yeah. Grow some herbs and let the herbs go to flower. They love it. Plant herbs just for them.
Yeah.
Adjust your habits. Lay off the chemical sprays. Okay. I know it's tough. I get it. 100%. Every animal is looking for the basics. They're looking for somewhere safe. They're looking for somewhere sheltered. They're looking for food. They're looking for water.
Yeah.
If there's no other garden in the neighborhood but yours that has that, they will find you.
Maybe create your own corridor in your neighborhood.
This year, tons of different butterflies. Those two I recognize instantly, the swallowtail and the monarch. At least 10 that I saw, different types of bees. Yeah, coming and visiting. Birds. Jenny actually, so we saw flickers, finches, chickadees. What else did we see now? Robins, the usual suspects, of course. Jenny saw a bunch of birds in our yard this year, and she was like, I think I'd like to get like a little feeder and a bird bath. And I was like, cha-ching. Let them come in, advertise to them that you have all of these plants, adjust your behaviors in the garden. It pays dividends. If anything else, I mean, I was so excited when I saw those 2 butterflies. I stopped everything I was doing and I was running around with my camera. And it was the best time. I was so over the moon happy that I got to see them.
I love that. Hey, I've got a monarch butterfly joke.
Okay.
Why did the monarch butterfly join the dance class?
Why did the monarch butterfly join? I have no idea.
To become a social butterfly?
This podcast is brought to you by Golden Acre Home and Garden. Find seasonal inspiration for your home and garden in Calgary, Alberta year-round. Visit goldenacre.ca. The comments and opinions expressed by the Helpful Gardeners on this show are our own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Golden Acre Home and Garden. For more information on everything we covered today and to leave us a voice note, visit goldenacre.ca/podcast. The Helpful Gardeners are on Instagram at The Helpful Gardeners Pod. Keep on growing, gardeners!